the end of the video, I will go through a proper brush cleaning technique. Do you know how many times I had to say that? Hello, my love. It is Tuesday, it's tea time, and this month we're talking about miniatures. I'd like to talk this week about the life cycle of a brush. Brushes are serious business, especially if you're into 40K. Oh my gosh, you can get some very expensive brushes. You will hear a lot of stuff about, oh, Kolinsky Sable, it's the best. Get a Winsor Newton Series 7 $30 brush, and then people don't take care of their brushes and then whine about how expensive it is to replace those brushes constantly. These are not my best brushes. Those are kept separate. And granted, I did stream miniature painting on Twitch for a number of years. But I have a collection of brushes. This is a Winsor Newton Series 7. And this is a Rosemary & Company, I think Series 33. Yeah, Series 33. They are both size 1. This brush was $27 when I bought it years ago. And this brush was $6. This is the brush that most people will recommend on, well, at least when I was freely wandering around the circles of miniature painting for 40K and AOS and things like that. The Winsor Newton Series 7 was the go-to brush. It is a watercolor brush made out of Kolinsky Sable. That's weasel butt hair. They do really good work. You can see that this one is beat up because there is paint really close to this metal piece. It's called the ferrule. You don't want any paint in there because once the paint gets in there, the bristles start to splay. And this is what I want to talk about this week, is the life cycle of a brush. Because people think that they buy a $27 brush and then when it stops holding a point, that brush is trash and they need to throw it out. And that is just not true. There's a whole life cycle of brushes. Like, you get them and they're shiny and brand new and super pointy, and you can paint the tiniest of details with them. You can dot the eyes. You can do eyes with the super sharp tippy point that is not yet hooked. Yeah, I'm looking at you, serial hookers. I know why that happens, by the way, because I used to be a serial hooker. How many brushes do I have that I have hooked to death? I think all my hooked brushes are past the painting part of the life cycle. So let's talk about the life cycle of a brush. Boy, what a beaut. What a beaut she is. Right here we have a Winsor Newton Series 7. She's about, I don't know, probably 4 years old. Still in fair condition for her age. Okay, I'm not going to do the voices because I keep going Scottish and I feel like that is a poor tribute to the Croc Hunter. Steve Irwin, we love you forever. Okay, so life cycle of the brush. You start off with a pristine brush with a tip. You can do all the details with it. Your eyes, your edge highlights, your little dots and slashes. This brush. This is the holy grail of brushes. This is the brush everybody talks about online. This is the best brush you're ever going to get until you get your next best brush that you're ever going to get. Okay? This brush, if you take care of it properly, which at the end of the video, I will go through proper brush cleaning. At the end of the video, I will go through a proper brush cleaning technique. Do you know how many times I had to say that? At the end of the video, we will go through a proper brush cleaning technique to keep your brushes newer longer. Because you can postpone the life cycle of the brush. You can elongate this first stage of life. We get the brushes when they're in a youthful adult stage, right? We don't ever see the egg and pupa stage of a brush when they're being, when the hair is growing on the weasel butt and when it's taken off of the weasel butt and glued up into the brush. We don't get to see that happen. You can look on YouTube and there are videos about the Series 7 brushes being made. I think they're all pretty much made by hand. I think I think all the very, very good brushes are made by hand because you can't get this kind of tip from a machine. Just the tip. That's all we want is just the tip. Okay, that's a joke, but it's real. Like, let's talk about brush sizes here for a second. It's a joke to say just the tip, but really and truly, the tip is the only thing that matters on brushes. Let's be real. I mean, not the only thing that matters, but we like to pretend that it's the only thing that matters. Let's talk about the tip, okay? Here is a 1 and a 3/0 Rosemary & Company Series 33 brush. If you look at these really, really close, you will see that the tip is the same size. The length of the brush hair is not the same size, and the roundness, the fatness of the brush is not the same size. So what you get when you have a smaller brush is a smaller paint reservoir. Honestly, a bigger brush is gonna do you better, as long as you know how to maintain the tip. Clean it, shave it, store it correctly, elongate this first stage of the life cycle. And then you can just use a bigger brush and be able to paint longer. So eventually you'll make the mistake of getting paint farther up the brush and into the ferrule. And once you do that, the paint will dry up in the ferrule and the tip of the brush will begin to splay, and it will no longer keep its super duper sharpness that makes us able to paint all those tiny details with it. This brush is not dead. It has not died. It is still useful. Base coats, large swaths of color that do not need the precision of the tiny tip, still great. Still absolutely wonderful. As time goes on, it'll begin to splay more and more and more. Like this one that I'm actually saying is good for base coats. Probably not honestly great for base coats anymore. Maybe the paint would make the bristles stick together. This one though has reached dry brush stage. When your bristles begin to splay out to a point where you can no longer accurately put the paint where you want to put it, and it keeps going in places next to where you want to put it, but not in the place you want to actually put it. This is a dry brush, okay? Because we want a large sweeping area on the tips of our dry brushes. That's actually preferable for a dry brush. We don't want a pointy tip dry brush. We want a poofy dry brush. We want a blush brush in the world of brushes. You know, if we were gonna talk about brushes like they were makeup brushes, our super sharp, very detailed brush is like, that's the angled eyeliner brush. Whoosh. That's what we use to get our cat eyeliner sharp enough to kill a man, right? That's the danger brush. The base coat brush is like a foundation brush, right? We want that very dense pack of bristles so that we can put color exactly where we want to put it, right? Our dry brush is going to be like a big fluffy blush or powder brush, or maybe like a fan brush for brushing on highlighter in, you know, all those spots that we want to just ding ding. That's what this is for. We want this brush to be a little bit flexy and very spread out, because we want to hit the high points of the model of our face. We want to sweep it over the face. We want to sweep it over the model, and we want it to deposit paint on the high points and not the low points. We want to keep the dry brush on the outside of the model, just like we want to keep the highlight on the places where the sun is going to hit, right? Which is arguably the outside of our model. After the dry brush phase, you may think that the brush is dead. This is not so. That brush yet has life in it. It may be aged like a fine wine, but you don't have to throw that brush out. That brush still has use. That's a glue brush now, baby. That's a technicals brush. That's a resin brush now. That is a brush that can jump on a grenade and save the other brushes from doom. Don't throw it out. It's got life. even after you use it as a glue brush, you can squeak, I don't know, 5, maybe 6 glues out of a glue brush if you do it right. If you clean it before the glue dries, which you're not gonna, are you? It's okay. I've forgotten glue on a brush too. I'm not gonna tell you you're a bad person for killing your brushes with glue. You learned a lesson, right? You're gonna clean your brushes? You wanna know how to clean your brushes? I'll teach you how to clean your brushes. First, you need some brush soap. If you are in a pinch, you can use shampoo if you are using a natural fiber brush. Using shampoo and conditioner on a brush that is not made of natural fibers is like putting lipstick on a pig. It's not going to do anything for you. Okay, I'm just going to put that out there. Synthetic fiber is not going to benefit from natural hair conditioners. And it may not even do well with conditioners made specifically for paintbrushes. Just gonna warn you. Also, synthetic brushes do tend to hook more easily. Oh yeah, I forgot I was going to talk about hooking. The thing that's going to make your brushes hook. Look me in the eye right here. Do you put your brush down onto the model and then push it forward into little crevices? Do you do that? Do you brush, push it forward? Like if you had this little crevice with a little sharp piece in here, do you put your brush in that and then push it? That's what makes your brush hook. Okay? When you put your brush down on the surface, you pull it. Pull. We pull a brush. Okay? We don't jam a brush. We don't push a brush. We pull the brush. Okay? This is going to destroy your brushes. That is going to make your brush splay. That's going to give you a dry brush right there. I don't care what brush you have. If you're doing this with your brush, you're going to end up with a hooked tip or splayed bristles. It's as simple as that. It's like if you don't put sunscreen on when you walk outside, you're going to get sun damage. What can I tell you? Anyway, let's talk about washing brushes. There are 2 things that you need to know about washing brushes. The first is when we rinse our brush. There's a method for rinsing brushes that will prolong their life. You have your cup of water, and that cup of water, you want it to be 3/4 to a half full. Not fully full, not super empty. Okay? You're going to take your brush, you're going to put it in the cup. Not all the way down. The tip of the brush never touches the bottom. That's the number 1 rule. Tip of the brush, no touchy. No touchy the tip. I'm aware of how this sounds, but this is important information and you need this. Okay? Tip, not touch. Okay? You swoosh it around and then you roll the brush along the side of the cup. And then you go swishy, swishy, and you do that again until the paint is out of the brush. And then you can have a paper towel and you can slide the brush gently against the paper towel to take the excess water off, okay? No jamming the brush tip. No, don't do this. Don't. If you jam your brush, you have only yourself to blame. I'm not going to judge you. Your brush is going to judge you, okay? So that's how we get the paint off the brush. That is not cleaning the brush. That is rinsing the brush. For cleaning the brush, you need a brush soap. I have a brush soap that I like. I used to use the Winsor and Newton Rembrandt soap or whatever it is. It's right here, this stuff. But I kept getting really hard cakes of it, and it was really, really hard to get the soap to actually work without further damaging my brush. So I happen to be really good friends with Jason and Jen from Monument Hobbies, and they were developing a new brush soap, And I was like, yeah, gimme, gimme, gimme. So I got one of the first batches of Gentastic's Drunken Brush Scoop. Smells like beer because it's made with beer. And it's amazing, right? I still have the container that I bought when they first developed this brush soap years ago, and it still works. This is not sponsored, okay? I happen to be friends with the owners of this store. We were on a stream team together. We hung out together. They're good people. They make good products. Not sponsored. I don't have a discount code. If you want to buy something from them, I highly recommend like looking for one of their affiliate people and using their code. I am not up to date on any of the miniature painting stuff on Twitch because I had to stop because of health issues. Yay, nerve pain. Anyway, we're going to use this soap that is not sponsoring this video to wash our brushes. And in order to do that, we're going to take our wet brush, we're going to put a little bit of water into our soap container, and we're going to roll the brush in the soap. Just roll it, roll it, roll it, and then we're going to get some soap on our brush, and then we're going to put it in our hand, and we're going to roll it around in our hand. And then, when we feel like we've gotten all the paint out of it, we're going to rinse our brush in the water. Zoop, 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 zoop. Note, if you are rinsing your brush soap in this water, the brush soap does contain agents that will break down the acrylic matrix that holds your paint together. So if you put enough brush soap in your brush rinsing water, eventually when you take the brush out of that water and you put it in the paint and you put the paint on your model, it's not gonna paint anymore. It's gonna break the acrylic matrix and stop being paint because of the soap. So if you're gonna wash your brushes, empty your cup. Did we learn this the hard way? Yes. Yes, we did. You're gonna do this washing and rinsing until you are sure that you have all of the paint out. It's very important. You want all the bristles clean and not a speck of paint anywhere near that ferrule. Once you've done that, you put a final coat of soap on the brush, because this is not just a soap, it's a conditioner too. If you are gonna put your brushes up and you're not gonna come back to paint for a little while, you want to seal that brush with your soap. You're gonna soap it up, not quite as thick of a lather as normal, and you're gonna take it and you're gonna run the brush against your hand and then turn it. And you're gonna do this. You're not gonna twist it. You're just gonna turn the brush when it's off of your hand, and then you're gonna pull it against your palm, and you're gonna keep doing that until you get a really nice point on your brush. And then you're gonna put it up to dry, and you're gonna put it sideways. You're not going to dry your brushes upright like this. Upside down is better, but you run the risk of whatever's holding it not holding it and it dropping. Sideways, this is the best way. Personal opinion, this is the best way to dry and store your brushes. Like, you can store them long term upside down. Do not store them tip down. We've discussed that. Protect the tip at all costs. Okay? We do not store our brushes point down. We store our brushes point up or sideways. I don't think I have any of them in this collection of brushes. They're all packed up in my hobby go bag. But if you have those little plastic things that came with the brush, the protector, you can just put that back on there and your brush is protected. I think that's all I have to teach you about brush care and the life cycle of brushes. It can be a pretty long life cycle. If you treat your stuff well, your brushes will last you years. Like, years. I started miniature painting 7 years ago, and I don't have the first brushes I bought because I bought synthetic brushes when I started because I didn't want to ruin a good thing. But I think I have the third Kolinsky Sable brush. Now, the first two, of course, I did destroy because I didn't know what I was doing. But once I learned how to take care of my brushes and how to not be a serial hooker, and, you know, wash them and condition them and store them correctly. This brush is like 4 years old. All right, this is not a young brush. This is an old brush, and it's still a base coat brush. It's got years of duty left in it. This is not a miniature painting channel. I'm just gonna warn you. If you are here only for miniature painting, please do not subscribe. I need consistent viewers, not people who are gonna subscribe and pump up my sub numbers and then not watch my videos. So, like, if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That's great. Leave a comment. Tell me if you learned anything about brush care. Or, you know, what's your favorite models to paint? Are you a war gamer, or do you paint D&D models? Are you into Infinity? Like, strike up a conversation if you want to hang around. If you want to help this video get to more people, the engagement does that. That's what tells the algorithm to give it to more people. But if you are only here for miniature painting content, please do not subscribe to me. Please do not. My channel is about crafting a life worth living. That's the tagline, okay? We sew. We're gonna do some foam armor. Like, there will probably be a Sisters of Battle cosplay, if I'm entirely honest. But that's not every week. That's not the bulk of the content. This month is gonna be about miniature painting. But, if you're not in it because you think I'm funny or cool, then don't be in it. Don't be in it. My dog. I have a dog. There may be some dog content. Probably not. He's kind of a... Are you a goof? You wanted to be in here while I was recording. I told you it was going to be boring. I did take my Patreon down because Patreon was being stupid. If you would like to monetarily contribute to the channel, you can do so by giving me a gift. I have a wishlist link down in the description. And I would really enjoy it if you could donate to one of the crowdfunded things. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. My loyal viewers, you know how much I love you. And every second of your attention you give me. I appreciate you so much. If you're new here, we're friends now, and that comes with obligations. Please take care of my friend. Please drink something that is hydrating, and eat something nutritious, and rest. Take some time for you. I will continue staring ominously at you until you take some time for you and rest. Because rest is necessary, even though I suck at it too. Trust me, I know. But seriously, you have to rest. My friend deserves kindness, okay? Take care of my friend, I'll take care of yours, and we can both work on crafting a life worth living, right? I love you. I'll see you next week. Honestly, I think too much stock is put into brushes. I've been in Warhammer Facebook groups for years, and some of the, like, they tell jokes about unaliving their wives for accidentally using their brushes. Like, whoa, honey, pump the brakes. It's not funny.